The city of Tel Aviv, known for its secular, international, and open-minded communities. Home to artists, high-tech crowds, capitalists, and idealists, to left-wingers, activists, and party people. But on the morning of October 7th, Hamas's attack on Israel changed the reality of the country, and the Tel Avivian bubble burst, with sirens blaring through the streets and direct hits on homes, putting a new, different kind of fear into the hearts of the residents, bringing the city straight into the reality of the rest of the Middle East and of a devastating war. In the weeks and months immediately after October 7th, the country was in shock. Restaurants and shops closed, so did some schools and kindergartens. About 350,000 reservists were mobilized, impacting the workforce and the economy. People stayed indoors. The tourist industry collapsed overnight, and crops went unharvested as thousands of foreign workers, including Palestinians, left. But as the months passed and the number of incoming rockets decreased overall, a semblance of normalcy began to return to many places in Israel, especially to Tel Aviv.
It's really kind of a cognitive dissonance because, you see, I live my life just like usual, just like before the war. Like, it's afternoon, I'm going to the beach, everything is beautiful, and at the same time, when I'm talking to my Tel Avivian friends, there's a crack that happened that cannot be restored. Like, we lost our hope for the future.
Yes, we are celebrating. Yes, we are going to coffee house. Yes, we are going to good restaurants. But from the other hand, many of us, including myself, I mean, my son is in Gaza. You know, you don't sleep the same way that you slept before, because you are always worried. For any small noise, you are afraid of something.
Walking through Tel Aviv on a regular afternoon, it's easy to forget that we're in the middle of a war. Throughout history, people from all faiths have come to Israel to pray. But when they come to Tel Aviv, they come to play.
A year into the war, near daily anti-government protests calling for the return of the hostages held in Gaza have taken over the streets.
We have this kind of double life. Restaurants that you need to wait weeks to have a seat from one hand, and from the other hand, you can find a seat in Saturday evenings, because so many people are going to demonstrate, to be part of the process, because people feel that they must do something. They must participate in the protest.
After the war, I start engage more in the political situation, and I understand both sides much more deeply, and just my heart expanded to more variety of pain.
We want to live, everybody, I think. So Tel Aviv is still party and people go out, but you see in the eyes of everybody it's not the same. It's not the same.
Many Tel Avivians have found their own ways of incorporating the new reality of the war into their daily lives. Some have become politically active, participating in weekly protests. Others paint political messages on the walls of the city or use fashion to garner awareness for the plight of their loved ones. And others, like Nikki, find themselves dedicating most of their working hours to sending a message of hope and humanity in a time of conflict. Since the war began, Nikki has crocheted more than 1,000 yellow ribbons and giving them to dogs all over the city.
I just look for people who are like, don't look busy or anything, and I go up to them and I ask them if they would like a yellow ribbon for their dog, and that I make them and that I give them out for free, and it's just a gift for their dog.
The pin has become a symbol of solidarity with the hostages still being held in Gaza.
Well, it's kind of become all-consuming. In the beginning, I would do it like on my own time. I was like, oh, when I feel like I have time, or I want to sit and like, if I was anxiously watching the news, and I would be like crocheting as that was happening, and then it became people were reaching out to me and wanting them.
Nikki's project started garnering attention. Now she's working full-time with a small group of volunteers to reach the demand coming in from all over the world.
I bought out all of the yellow yarn of this kind in this country, and as fast as we can and as many as we can make, we will make.
Nikki is also gathering stories of dogs impacted by the war to make a book.
Whether it's, an Oket's dog that was a hero, or a dog that fell, or a dog that survived his family on October 7th, or whether it's a dog that was rescued from in Gaza and brought to Israel for care, or whether it's the dogs of our hostages that are waiting, they're waiting for their someone to come home. And through the eyes of the dogs, the crowd that I can reach is much bigger.
Nikki hopes to reach the hearts of people who would not necessarily be open to hearing stories from Israelis.
People are more reluctant to read the story when they hear, oh, it's an Israeli story or an Israeli telling a story. They tend to put up walls and be like, okay, I'm not sure I want to read that Zionist whatever. But people are a lot more willing to read a story about a dog.
Nikki says it's her way of spreading humanity and joy in a moment of tragedy and division.
On the face of it, nothing has changed. Tel Aviv remains the same. And yet, everything has changed.